Now, the news, our top headline tonight. FEMA follows DHS in monitoring news coverage of its activities 24/7. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has followed in the footsteps of the DHS in looking to hire a private contractor that will monitor news coverage of the agency's activities on a 24/7 basis. Quote, FEMA is planning to award a 100% small business set-aside contract to a media monitoring firm that can monitor, archive, and measure all local news in major Nielsen markets, all nationally broadcast news, and all cable outlets for their news coverage of FEMA activities in the field across the US, reports Government Security News. And the program is similar in nature to a DHS monitoring effort that stoked controversy and a congressional hearing after it emerged that the DHS had hired an outside contractor, General Dynamics Advanced Information Systems, to monitor social media outlets along with a list of websites, including the Drudge Report, on a 24/7, 365 basis in order to uncover, quote, any media reports that reflect adversely on the US government or the department. And so we have this raft of federal agencies, we'll talk about the FBI in a minute, suddenly in a scramble to keep a constant watch on what people are reporting on or saying about the government online. And as we heard during the DHS subcommittee hearing yesterday, this is not aimed at newspaper people, people who produce news content. It's not aimed at bloggers. I mean, it's only going to make us talk about it even more. It's going to make us talk about the federal government in a negative context even more. I mean, this is aimed at creating a chilling effect wherein the average American will be more reluctant to criticize their government because of the fear that they could face some kind of reprisal. And in the particular case of FEMA, this agency was, of course, caught completely botching the response to Hurricane Katrina. Of course, we know they got massive new funding and powers as a result of that, but their image did take a pounding. So now they're trying to massage their image back into a good state. But what is FEMA preparing for that requires them to monitor the internet 24/7 to gauge the reaction to their activities? Well, could it be the rollout of clergy response teams during a national emergency? These are pastors and religious representatives trained by the federal government, as we reported in 2006, to, quote, quell dissent and pacify citizens to obey the government in the event of a declaration of martial law. And that, of course, is something that can't be dismissed as a conspiracy theory because it's an admitted program. So we got FEMA very interested in keeping tabs on what people are thinking of its activities. And this relates very much to our next story, which is FBI to spy on gold bugs via suspicious comments app. Given the fact that the FBI has characterized the view that the US should return to the gold standard as an extremist belief held by potential domestic terrorists, should gold bugs be concerned about the agency's efforts to create a new app that tracks suspicious comments made on social media websites? A document posted online recently by the Federal Bureau of Investigation seeks developers to create an app that will have the capability to, quote, rapidly assemble critical open source information and intelligence to quickly vet, identify, and geolocate breaking news events, incidents, and emerging threats. And again, just like the DHS, just like FEMA, the FBI is joining the stampede to have the news, blogs, and social media websites constantly monitored on a full-time basis for keywords of their choosing. And just like the DHS stonewall the congressional hearing yesterday by trying to restrict the debate to disaster relief, the FBI is doing the same with this program. But we know from last week's announcement out the FBI's counter-terror division, in addition to the FBI's Communities Against Terrorism program, that people who they think should be monitored as potential domestic terrorists are the same people who post tweets and Facebooks about believing in the gold standard. And of course, we had the story about buying a cup of coffee with cash at an internet cafe, and also buying food in bulk. All of these activities are deemed suspicious and potentially indications of terrorism by the FBI. So that's what they're going to be interested in when it comes to monitoring social media. Former FBI agent Mike German said comments made on a Twitter account deemed suspect by the FBI could create, quote, a cloud of suspicion over people merely using social media to express their First Amendment rights, warning that the feds could use the data to, quote, increase video surveillance in a neighborhood. And this is what he said. Quote, part of what we want to protect is the freedom to speak your mind, to criticize government policies without the fear that the government will take it the wrong way and start treating you as if you're a threat, German told Fox News. But of course, as we know, the DHS see something, say something videos, the FBI flyers going out to businesses like internet cafes, tattoo parlors, military surplus stores, etc. The MIAC report and a host of other examples spanning back years prove that informed Americans who are angry or dissatisfied at the federal government have already been identified and targeted as the primary terror threat. So that's what the FBI, the DHS and FEMA are going to be interested in with this monitoring program of social media, Facebook, Twitter comments, etc.